It is time to continue the annual off-season tradition of making bold predictions for the upcoming NHL season. I actually made a video, I think it was like a month or two ago, where I went back and reacted to my bold predictions that I made last off-season, and let's just say I didn't do so hot. Now, although these predictions are of course meant to be bold, I still want to do better this time around than I did last year, so hopefully I can achieve that. One thing I do want to give you guys a heads up on before we get started, keep an eye out on the community tab because I am going to be making a post over there sometime within the next day or two. I'm going to be asking you guys what are your bold predictions for the upcoming NHL season, and then I'm going to react to some of them in a video, so keep an eye out for that. Now with that all being said, let's get into things. My first bold prediction for the 2021-22 NHL season, Sidney Crosby, for the very first time in his NHL career, finishes the season under a point per game. I mean, it has to happen at some point, doesn't it? He's now going into year 17, he's 34 years old. Now, let's be honest, Sidney Crosby is still one of the best players on the planet, and that's why I do consider this a bold prediction, because even though he is up there in age, even though he is going into year 17, he's still Sidney Crosby, and I would not be in the least bit surprised if he scores 100 points this upcoming season. But for the sake of this bold predictions video, I'm going to say he finishes under a point per game this upcoming season. If it does happen, I don't think it's going to be by much. Like, I'm not saying Crosby's going to fall off a cliff. I'm thinking like if he plays a full 82 game season, maybe he finishes with like 78, 80 points, something like that. Now, we did actually get some news yesterday that could actually factor into this. Sidney Crosby underwent a wrist procedure. I believe he's set to miss 6 weeks, so he's going to miss the majority of Penguins training camp. Should be good to go to start the season with the Penguins, but maybe that's something that could affect his play. You never know. Moving on now to bold prediction number 2. The Philadelphia Flyers go from missing the playoffs in 2020-21 to winning the Metro Division in 2021-22. I'm a big fan of the Flyers roster. Obviously, this past season was incredibly disappointing. We know they're better than that, though. We know that that team is way too talented to have the type of season that they just had. We also know that Carter Hart is way too talented to have the type of season that he just had again in 2021-22. I'm a big fan of the Flyers bringing in Ryan Ellis. I think he's really going to help stabilize that blue line that was incredibly shaky this past season. I really feel like the Flyers are in for a big bounce back season, and history is on my side here too, because going back to the 2013 season, the Philadelphia Flyers have been stuck in this trend of having one good year and one bad year. It's actually kind of crazy. In 2013, they missed the playoffs. They made it in 2014, missed in 15, made it in 16, missed in 17, made it in 18, missed in 19, made it in 20, and then of course missed it in 2021. So if this trend keeps up, they should make it in 2022. Moving along now to bold prediction number 3. You guys know I had to have at least one in here involving the Red Wings or a Red Wings player. I'm not going to be a fool and say the Red Wings make the playoffs. My bold prediction is Jakub Vrana scores 40 goals in the 2021-22 season. To be honest, I was blown away with what Jakub Vrana showed Red Wings fans in the 11 games he played with Detroit after the trade deadline, and I know that is a small sample size and I don't want to get too carried away here, but I really feel like 40 goals in a full 82 game season is achievable for this player. He has a lethal shot. He's incredibly good at scoring goals off of the rush. That's really where he thrives in the open ice. And when it comes to the past 4 seasons, if you look at his goals per 60 minutes of play, he's actually among the league leaders. Before being traded to the Red Wings, it was just about ice time. He didn't really get a lot of opportunity to play big top 6 minutes with the Washington Capitals. He honestly played closer to third line minutes, but as we saw in Detroit playing on their top line, he thrived. He had 8 goals in 11 games. Now, I don't think he's going to score at that pace across a full season. That would be ridiculous, but I do really believe if he stays healthy, 40 goals is achievable, and I feel like this is a pretty bold prediction considering I believe his career high in goals is like somewhere around 25. I don't think he's had a 30 goal season yet. Next up, bold prediction number 4. Connor McDavid does not win the Art Ross Trophy, which is of course awarded to the player who scores the most points in a given NHL season. Now, I feel like a lot of you are going to say that this isn't a bold prediction. I mean, predicting one guy to not win an award can't be that bold, right? And in most cases, you would probably be right, but I don't think you would be in this particular case. I mean, it's Connor McDavid and this scoring title. The guy just had 105 points in a shortened 56 game season. I believe the NHL Network's point projection for Connor McDavid this upcoming season was 150. Now, I think that might be a little bit much, but still, that just goes to show everybody expects expects this guy to lead the league in points. In order for this to come true, I just have to hope Nathan MacKinnon, Artemi Panarin, Leon Draisaitl, McDavid's teammate, one of those guys just go absolutely berserk this upcoming season and beat out McDavid. If somebody does, I don't think it's going to be by much. If we're being honest though, even if McDavid misses some time, if he plays like 75 games, I still think there's a good chance he probably wins it, but I guess we'll see. Next up, bold prediction number 5, we have another team one here. The Los Angeles Kings make the playoffs. I'm honestly really intrigued and excited to watch the playoff race in the Pacific Division this upcoming season because I think you got Vegas at the top. They're most likely going to win that division. I'd be surprised if they don't. But then after that, it's literally just a bunch of question marks. That division could go so many different ways. The LA Kings have been rebuilding for 3 seasons now. They haven't made the playoffs since 2018, and they were bounced in the first round of those playoffs pretty easily by Vegas. But based off of the moves that the Kings have made this offseason, going out and trading away a draft pick to get a guy like Victor Arvidsson, signing a guy like Phillip Danault to a big contract in free agency, it seems like they're ready to start to come out of this rebuild. They want to compete. They want to win this season. And honestly, I think a lot of that was because Drew Doughty kind of put the pressure on the Kings a little bit. He came out and said he doesn't want to rebuild for the remainder of his career. He's under contract for a long time. He wants to compete. And it seems like the Los Angeles Kings are giving Drew Doughty his wish. They're coming out of this rebuild maybe a little bit earlier than they originally anticipated. Looking at their roster now, I think they have a team that can compete. I really like what they have, obviously moving forward into the future. Their prospect pool is absolutely insane. And you never know, maybe if some of those prospects are a little bit ahead of schedule, Quinton Byfield being the biggest one, I'm interested to see what type of role he plays for the Kings this upcoming season. You know, Arthur Kaliev, Alex Turcotte. Imagine if all 3 of those guys make the Kings this upcoming season and are really good right away, similar to the type of situation the Leafs had back in 2016-17. I really think the Kings could surprise a lot of people. I probably wouldn't be making this prediction if they were in any other division, but since they're in the Pacific and I really view that division as wide open outside of Vegas, I think it's possible. So that's my bold prediction here. The Kings make the playoffs in 2022. Moving on now to bold prediction number 6. I think this one might be the most bold of the entire video. Alexis Lafreniere is a point-a-game player in the 2021-22 season. No secret that he struggled a little bit offensively as a rookie, just 21 points in 56 games. Now, I think there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, the fact that there was no preseason, shorter training camps this past season, that really couldn't have helped Lafreniere get ready to play NHL games. Also a shortened season, less time to get used to playing in the NHL, stuff like that I definitely think factored in. I'm expecting a big jump in his offensive production in 2021-22, especially now that the Rangers have a new coach in Gerard Gallant, who already came out and said he's not going to be playing guys like Kakko and Lafreniere on the 4th line. They're not going to thrive in that role, and at times David Quinn would do that. He would play them in roles where there's just no way they're going to succeed, so I don't see that happening now that Gerard Gallant is the head coach. Full training camp, full preseason, I'm expecting Lafreniere to come out of the gate and look much more comfortable than what we saw from him in the 2020-21 season. Now, that all being said, point per game, I think that is still a lot, and that's why I would definitely consider this a bold prediction. If I was making a logical prediction on what his point total could look like next season in a full 82 game season, I would say maybe around the 50 to 55 mark. But hey, you never know. Obviously, he has all the talent in the world. He was a first overall pick for a reason. If he plays on a line with Panarin, they find some chemistry and get hot, I think anything can happen. And now, finishing out the video, my final bold prediction for the upcoming NHL season: Spencer Knight, goaltender for the Florida Panthers, wins the Calder Trophy as NHL's Rookie of the Year. Now, this is one that I kind of feel like isn't all that bold, and I feel like I might get some comments saying, oh, that's not a bold prediction at all, stuff like that. My reason for having this in here and considering it a bold prediction is because we actually made a video a couple of weeks back looking at the Calder Trophy odds for the upcoming NHL season, and Spencer Knight was not even in the top 8. He wasn't even mentioned. I feel like a lot of people already have Cole Caulfield penciled in as the Calder Trophy winner, but in my opinion, Spencer Knight has a real shot to win. I actually think he has a pretty good chance at winning. And just even looking at Spencer Knight's current situation, he's in a really good spot right now. We know he's going to be one of Florida's 2 goaltenders this season, and when you look at how up and down Sergei Bobrovsky has been throughout his time in Florida so far, I think there's a chance Spencer Knight could be their starting goaltender. Florida is most likely going to be a very good team. I mean, I'm definitely picking them to make the playoffs in the Atlantic Division. So on top of the fact that Spencer Knight is just in a very good situation, we've already seen him play some NHL games, and he looked like the real deal. 4 games played for the Panthers this past season, a perfect 4-0 record, a .919 save percentage. He knows what to expect. He's not going to be coming into next season with 0 NHL games played at all. He has a little bit of experience, because I really have high hopes for him and high hopes for the Florida Panthers in general. I really like what they did this offseason, bringing in a guy like Sam Reinhart. Things are shaping up for a pretty exciting Calder Trophy race this season. So that is going to do it for today's video. Those are my 7 bold predictions for the 2021-22 NHL season. Like I said at the start of the video, be sure to keep an eye out on the community tab if you want to have a chance to have your bold prediction for next season featured in an upcoming video. And of course, let me know what you guys think about the predictions I made in this video. Of the 7, if you had to choose just one that you think has the highest chance of actually happening, which one would that be?